Yes, we can in the power of words. Like a word magician, Barack Obama will have to fight even harder this time.
If you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together.
There's no more waiting. This is going to impact my life today and the lives of our kids and the lives of our grandkids.
I don't know what he's done, but I see what he's done. I can feel it.
Art and politics really being sort of the same thing, and I believe that, especially in this campaign.
My name is Benjamin Henning. I am here with my co-host, Charlotte Henning. We created this idea a couple months ago, trying to get creative and figure out a way that we can incorporate many people into the campaign and bring new people in. And for everyone that has worked or followed the Obama campaign over the last 4 or 5 years, you realize that we do not run a traditional campaign. We have to think outside of the box and get as many people involved as humanly possible. And that's what tonight represents. We have some of the most amazing pieces of art that I've seen in a long time.
He has seen things like the Occupy movement do more in 7 months than 7 years of the Civil Rights movement. Both movements hoping to affect social change, change, change. It could be about race if we let it. We could understand the importance of unifying together like we're doing tonight if we really wanted to. We could hold the nation's heartstring accountable if we really wanted to. We know this, and so does the 44th president, trust me. We have a shared complicity. How can we call these social conditions livable when we look around? We have the work to do, us, the constituents. How in the world can we expect to get respected in the future, putting this many people beneath the poverty line and on meds and in prisons? How can we answer with a straight face? Yes, we can. Many might say, yes, we can. They might talk about getting their country back, or might look for another Willie Horton, welfare mother, or immigrant platform. But we know where we're going, right? We know where we're going, right? We know where we're from. Yes, we can in the power of words. Like a word magician, Barack Obama will have to fight even harder this time. The line dividing the other side of the aisle is blurring. The line, the other side of the aisle is gaining momentum. The line, it has mud to sling. The other side of the aisle has mud to sling. It has plenty of new and improved things to sell. And if those guys could get a hold of the country's neck again, we all of us, we all know what they do. The answer lies in our hearts. This new America, the answer lies in our hearts. What do we care about? What must we protect? Here we are again. Will there be a re-election? These answers remain to be seen, but history is our only precedent. Dear Mr. President, I've written to all the other ones in my lifetime, all of them, every single one of them, other presidents. But I never had the guts to mail the letters. I really felt they wouldn't listen to a young black kid from Minneapolis, but dig. I wrote to you because I thought you'd hear me. I speak for the people who make up my portion of America. On the run from predatory lending, gas bills, light bills, my neighborhood, my demographic. And if you're still reading this, I hope you're still listening, Mr. President, because there are millions watching now, waiting, some hoping like us, some praying like us for another change, for a greater change this time. Some even singing that Sam Cooke song, "A Change Gonna Come." Millions sitting in living rooms, glued to the news. In their hearts, they are hoping, wanting a second term. If you want a second term in the audience, just put up a hand. Put your hand up like you mean it. If you want a second term, hoping for 4 more years, hoping those 4 years will be enough. Put your hands up high if you want a second term. In the race against time, and the race issue can be altered if more of us become involved with the goodness of all cultures respectively, because like I said earlier, there's a paradigm shift, and that change will affect the world. It will have a positive impact on our futures if more of us decided we could change the world. We could do it together. We could correct the mistakes. We could do it together. It can be done. One heart, one mind, one person at a time. If we looked at ourselves deep into us, making change happen from us, we might be able to meet the president somewhere in the middle. Raise your hand if you want a second term. But we got to meet the man somewhere in the middle. We might be able to get from ourselves what we crave externally.
So it just shows one more facet. I mean, we have spoken word, we have jazz quartets, we have amazing art, we have elected officials that are with us, but most of all, it's us. It is the people, it's the people that are going to change the election, that are going to determine the election.
What you hear the Republicans doing is attacking our president because he hasn't moved fast enough. But when you think about where the economy was in 2008 and where he's brought it to, and you can see it, you can feel it start to turn now. You can feel jobs are coming back, and it was a tough slog, and we need to keep that in mind. You need to fight back on this issue because I think he's done a terrific job. If you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. And that's what I see in our president, is that he's trying to make us go far together, but he's having one devil of a time trying to get us all to go together because there's a lot of people that are at the fork in the road that don't want to go down the fork in the road that we know is the right fork in the road. They want to just stand there at the fork that either don't want to go down the other fork or they want to go backwards from where they came from. We can't go backwards, and we got to go down the fork in the road that the president has picked because it's the one that we know is the right pathway. So let's make sure that as we get into this campaign that we remember we're all going together and we're all going to go far, but the only way we're going far is if we go together. So let's support him every way we can. He's the man for the job the second go around. Who wants a president named Mitt anyway?
President Obama. I met President Obama maybe 6 years ago when I was volunteering for a campaign for Congress for a colleague of mine, and he knocked my socks off. I was, who is this man? This is 6 years ago, and that man's going to go places. And look at him today. He's our president, and we need to continue to support him and reelect him. But also, politics are also local. So we also need to reelect and elect the DFL majority back to the state capitol because we cannot live 2 more years of what we've seen. It's been a circus, and I don't have to remind you of that. It can be 2 more or it can be 4 more. You have your pick. I'm willing to work hard, and I'm proud to be living in a state where a legacy amendment passes in 2008 where we are funding the arts and the outdoors and the environment. But frankly, we're also forgetting that those are the values of Minnesota, and that is why it passed, and that is why the arts are being funded in the way they are, in our culture and our outdoors. And then you have people at the legislature trying to play even with that, and now bumping into other amendments that are not in line with the values of Minnesota.
Things are lining up because of a practical, committed, logical administration under our president, Obama. Things are lining up. Now, I'm telling you that we have challenges across the board. We know that. In education, we see a president who is standing tall, who is speaking to our needs, and who is lining up the resources, whether they be city or county or state or federal, to focus on who? Our children, because that's what's important, right? And our President Obama has made it possible for us, whether we're in rural America, in the suburbs, or in our cities, to work together across platforms and with our community. In St. Paul, we applied for, didn't get, our neighbor did, the Promise Neighborhood Grant. And there are many across the United States in all sorts of communities who are working for their children because of the vision of that sort of alignment that will help us make certain that education is quality education for every single child. And here in the Twin Cities, in my community, we were working very hard on putting together our transportation project, the Central Corridor. And we have corridors throughout this metropolitan area that are depending upon a president and those he works with throughout the United States who understand the importance of that transit project, yes, to get people from here to there, but also to connect communities and as an infrastructure project that can put people to work. We were having a little difficulty getting there, but it ended up in Barack Obama's budget in the very first year. And if you come to St. Paul right now, you might have a little bit of trouble getting around, but it won't be for long because Central Corridor will be on the ground and working in 2014.
Art and politics really being sort of the same thing, and I believe that, especially in this campaign, where you've got a president who who's building a campaign that is for everyone, that's open, that brings people in, that asks people to be creative, asks people to take things into their own hands, asks people to put on events like this, asks people to come up with spoken word and poetry and song and music and art that all talk about the kind of country we want to live in, the kind of leaders we want in Washington. That's why I'm working on this campaign. It's doing politics the right way, which we really need because there's a lot of politics the wrong way going on in this country. And, politics as usual. And the thing that I love about this campaign, and I was involved in 2008, the reason I came back, is because it's doing politics the right way. It is about winning. It's also about involving people. It's about strengthening our democracy with a small d, making it stronger, not weaker, which is where we've been headed, right? So getting more people involved. We saw that in 2008. The huge numbers of people that voted for the first time. And then 2010 came around, and a lot of those folks didn't vote. And things changed. Things flipped around. And so we're actually here in this state running this campaign to get those folks back and to get new people involved and to get back to where we were in 2008 in terms of having a healthy democracy where people feel like they own it, where it's for them, where it's politics that it's about them and their lives. That's what this president represents, someone who speaks to people's concerns and circumstances. He knows what families go through because he lives that life, right? And people feel that. They feel that connection. And young people see themselves in their president, which is really remarkable and important and powerful.
The road in front of us won't be easy. It won't be easy. In this state alone in 2010, 94,000 Democrats stayed home. They were frustrated. They were angry. They're disappointed. They stayed on their sofas on Election Day. Because of that, we lost elections all throughout this country. Up and down the ballot, here in this state, we lost the State House of Representatives by 700 votes. We lost the State Senate by 2,200 votes. And when you consider that 94,000 Democrats didn't vote, we know what our challenge is in the coming months here. We need to go out and energize and mobilize and organize Democrats, bring them to the polls, and make sure they help re-elect President Obama and DFLers up and down the ballot. And I'm just going to leave you on this. we need to make sure we don't take anything for granted. We need to go out there and organize, 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 neighbor to neighbor, person to person, door to door. If we do that, we will be successful. President Obama will be reelected to a second term, and Democrats will finally return sanity to St. Paul and Washington. Thank you so much.